Alright, so to perform the particular Oki setup that I just showcased, several of them, to make it easier, I'll be at the wall immediately, so that way you can see how to perform them, and then I can proceed with the steps as to how you can do them. So for one, let's start out with the setup that I did while at the wall while doing forward 3-2 into Beast Step. Now to perform this particular setup, all you need to do is get your launch, or in this case a wolf spot against the opponent. Let's say you do something on the lines of back, down, back, 2, 3. Or if, let's say, you perform a combo and you do get the wall, but you have not gotten the bound just yet, you can then go for back 3. I found this to be the most consistent to getting the particular setup to work. So starting out, let's just imagine that the opponent is already wall splatted. You go for back 3, and once you do that, you go into forward 3-2, into Beast Step, and you will then do the unblockable kick, this right here, but you'll perform it at the last second, so that when they do manage to side roll immediately and then get up, then you can get the landing of your unblockable kick. Now you may be wondering that what if the opponent decides to do something else? Let's say if they were to decide that they don't want to get hit by the unblockable high kick and stay crouched. If that were to happen and you have a read on the opponent, you can decide to do this instead. So while being crouched and not going into the unblockable kick, you can still go for your crouching grabs. This includes also your heat engager version. If you don't want to go for that as an example, because maybe they may decide to stand up immediately or maybe do a side step, you can do this instead. You go for up 1. Up 1, it has a little bit of linearity, so there's a chance that they may step it. But if you catch them with up 1, for one, if they block it, it's +4 if I believe. And if they do end up trying to retaliate with an attack, you can still counter hit launch them. So that's the option you can go for with that. So all you really need to do to get the unblockable kick is delaying it as much as possible to then get the landing. Mind you that, like I said, doing your launch into this bound, back 3, is your best bet. You could decide to go for down 4-1-2, and that can also work as well. But this is only if you manage to land these 2 bounds. You can go for other bounds like your string, this one right here, forward 3-2-1, or your down forward 3 plus 4 into 3. But you may not get as much leeway or leniency to then perform the unblockable, giving them enough time to actually spiral away and then get themselves either a step to manage to then get away from the attack. Now let's move on to the next particular setup you can perform. This one is a little bit more tricky because it also depends exactly how you get the bound or how you get the wall. So if, let's say, you were to again do back 3 in my opinion is the most consistent out of all the bounds to get this particular setup to work. So if, let's say, you were to do back 3, so if you do it accurately and at the right time, they will still get hit by the incoming attack. They can't step it. You see it has a bit of tracking, but it only has tracking once they've managed to immediately side roll, and then you can then perform your setup right afterwards. This is even more true if, let's say, for example, you're in heat and perform your power crush into your follow-up. There will be +5, I believe, or +4. So if they do manage to get hit by this, then you might get a splat depending on the angle, and if not, then you still get a damage of course, from the move. And if not that, then even if they do manage to block, then you're plus on block and it's still your turn. Now in the case of the last particular setup you can perform with Armor King, you can do this instead. This is the easiest one you can perform, and it does still give you some leeway depending on their actions. all you need to do is simply just land the final hit of the string, delaying it, and you get a flip. You get Oki from this. And if depending what they may do right afterwards, you can still get other attacks accordingly. As an example, you can get down 4-4-4 or down 4-4 into 3+4. Now I recommend doing down 4-4-4 instead because you get more Oki from this. So if they do end up getting up and attempt to attack, you can go for, let's say, your down 4-3 to get the counter at launch, or your back 1+2 to at least get your 4-2-1 if you want to perform that instead, or other options as well. But let's say, as an example, that they decided they don't want to get up at all, and you are still contemplating as to how to approach the target. You can do this instead. If they don't get up, and you're going for, let's say, down 4-4-4 instead, yeah, you can get some damage, or either if you want to go for the more damaging route of the down 4-4 into 3+4, you can do that as well. But let's say you want to go for more mix-up. If they don't break this grab, then you get mix-up right afterwards. They have to guess, unless you go for the grabs, which they can still duck, or if you want to follow up with your next incoming move, so then you can catch them off guard with that instead. Mind you, with the first particular Oki setup that I just showcased, where you perform forward 3-2 into either the unblockable kick, if they also decide that they don't want to end up side rolling and not trying to get caught by whatever incoming move that you're trying to use, you can still perform a crouching stand-up grab, in this case the one that you do against the opponent. So as an example, a little late, but you can see the point. You can still stay crouching and still perform the stand-up grab. So if you have that read against the opponent, you still have like at least 3 ways to approach them if they decide to either one side roll into crouch, or if they want to side roll and then stand up to attack, or if they end up deciding to stay grounded, you can go for the stand-up grab, or either the other option, which is if they do stay grounded, you can go for this version instead. Which you do lose out in the case of mix-up, since now you're forcing the opponent back into the neutral. And that's essentially it. There really isn't anything else that I have figured out with Armor King just yet. There are some tricks you can perform besides the ones that I just mentioned, so I will make another video with another Oki setup, so that way you can see some other minor ones you can try to perform with Armor King if you would like. So without further ado, if you guys like what you watch, give the video a like or a dislike if you want to, subscribe to see more of my shit, and of course, stay safe, stay tuned.